Hey there! Sometimes it helps to think of life as a game of chess. It's this whole journey of strategy, big moves, and sometimes incredible transformation. Today we're going to explore that idea through the amazing story of one woman's quest to go from being a simple pawn to a powerful queen.
So I want to start with a question for you, one that Steve Jobs famously asked himself. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? It's a pretty intense way to check in with yourself, right?
Well, for a financial executive named Shiela Cancino, the answer to that question eventually became a loud, clear, and life-changing no. And that single word, well, that was the very first move on a brand new chessboard. All right, let's dive in and set the board. We're starting with what we'll call Sheila's dilemma. This classic story where on the outside, everything looks perfect, but on the inside, something feels really wrong. I mean, you look at her resume, right? Vice president, top of her department, a total success in the high-stakes world of finance. But what was going on inside? She felt like a pawn. Just a small piece being moved around a board that she didn't even control, feeling totally lost and just eaten alive by her job. The real wake-up call came from a really simple moment. She saw one of the senior leaders in her office, kind of like a ghost of her Christmas future. And this guy was so completely buried in his phone, racing from one meeting to the next, that he walked right by her without even a glance. And in that instant, she just knew. She did not want a future so busy that there wasn't even time for a simple hello.
Okay, so to really get what she was feeling, we've got to rewind a bit. Let's look at the opening moves of her life's chess game, way back in her early years.
Her early school life was this giant seesaw of ups and downs. She'd pull off something amazing, like finishing in the top 5, and people would tell her it didn't really count. She got kicked out of the top section in high school. Then in college, she felt so small next to her wealthy classmates that she just wanted to quit. But every single time, she dug deep and found a way to fight back. So there she is, in college, about to give up, and her older sister says this to her, words that just changed everything. All of a sudden, it wasn't just about her anymore. It was for her family, for her mom, and that idea, it became the anchor that held her steady through all the storms. And with that new fire lit under her, Shiela started a career that would literally take her across the entire world. This was her big move to cross the board. I mean, look at this list. Bermuda, the US, Hong Kong, India, Singapore. She wasn't just moving up the corporate ladder, she was jumping across continents, trying to figure out these brand new cultures. And a lot of the time, she was doing it all by herself. And get this, she actually called herself a certified public avoider. Her fear of speaking English was so bad, she'd literally stare at the floor to avoid making small talk. For her, the sound of a ringing phone wasn't a call, it was a crisis. And she was dealing with all this while managing a super demanding job in finance. And then, right when things looked bleak during the 2008 crash, you get this huge plot twist. She's about to lose her job, but gets asked to help file some documents as a last task. And she was so incredibly thorough, noting every little missing detail, that it completely blew her boss away. And boom, that one small task landed her the only job offer on the table, a move to the US. It just goes to show you, right? Doing the small things with excellence can open up the biggest doors. So, she did it. She crossed the board, but what she found out is that just getting to the other side, well, that's not checkmate. She had to find a new, deeper purpose for her journey. And that missing piece, it finally clicked into place when she was back home for a visit. She saw these incredibly smart young people, even her own cousins, who had to drop out of school simply because their families couldn't afford it. And seeing that, it sparked an old dream she'd had since college. So she took that dream and made it real. It's called the 4S Foundation. Share a secret, spread success. And this wasn't just some side hustle. It became her why. Suddenly, all those lonely days and the high-pressure job had a real meaning. She wasn't just earning a paycheck. She was earning an education for someone else. But there was a problem. To really make this foundation work, she had to face her single biggest fear. She had her mission. Now she had to find her voice. She found it in a place called Toastmasters. It was basically a gym for public speaking, a place where she could finally practice English and not worry about being judged. And the change was just, wow. The certified public avoider didn't just become a confident speaker. She became a world champion of public speaking in 2018. By facing her greatest fear, she unlocked her greatest power. Okay, So this is where it all comes together. The journey, the purpose, the new voice. This is the endgame. This is how Shiela becomes the queen. Okay, so quick chess rule for anyone who doesn't know. It's called pawn promotion. A pawn, which seems like the weakest piece on the board, has this secret superpower. If it can survive the whole journey and make it all the way to the other side, it gets promoted to a queen. I mean, come on, is that not the perfect metaphor for her life? And this is so cool. She turned her own life into a blueprint for others to follow. Step 1, acknowledge you're the pawn, maybe feeling a little stuck. Step 2 is self-exploration, finding what you're really about. Step 3 is taking action, that long, hard journey across the board. And step 4, you arrive as the queen, empowered and ready to make an impact. And this right here is maybe the biggest takeaway of all. See, for her, becoming a queen isn't about getting a corner office or a fancy title. It's a feeling. It's a state of being where you're driven by purpose and you have the power to actually make a difference in the world. So that brings it all back to you. Shiela's story is proof that it doesn't matter what piece you start as. With a clear purpose and the courage to make the tough moves, anyone can reach the other side. So think about it. On the chessboard of your own life, what's your next move?